I'm Michael Drives, and this is the 2023 Hyundai Ioniq 5 all-wheel drive limited in Shooting Star Black. Just look at this car. I've been waiting years to actually get a hold of one, and I'm so excited to drive it. This design is like the coolest 80s boombox you have ever seen. It's just striking, it's stunning. Hyundai could have designed another lozenge to slip through the air and kind of blend in with all the other subcompact crossover SUVs, but they didn't. They took a chance on a cool and daring design, which is a mashup of sort of 1970s Hyundai pony car and 1980s, like the neatest boombox with the dancing LEDs that you've ever seen. Like, the design is just awesome. And look at the sides, the way the creases happen. Look at the front end with the headlights that are projector LEDs. It is the top trim level with the dual motor all-wheel drive. And what's cool about this car is it's Hyundai's first all-electric car on a dedicated all-electric platform. This is an 800 volt platform. And what that means is this car will charge from 10 to 80% in under 18 minutes, which is phenomenal, provided you have a 350 kilowatt charging station. The performance of the car from that 800 volt architecture is stunning. This will do 0 to 60 in under 5 seconds, and it has 266 miles of range. With the rear wheel drive only platform of this car, because this is a dual motor all wheel drive, that range is over 300 miles. And the car will charge in just under 7 hours on a level 2 charger in your garage. Let's take a look at the front end here. I want you to notice the projector, parametric LED headlights. And then we've got this cool sort of bumper surround here. But what's neat is it just looks like plain silver in the daytime, but it actually lights up at night, which is, I think, awesome. And then down here, it doesn't look like much at the moment, but these are actually active shutters. So these will open up when the battery needs or car needs additional cooling and allow the air to flow through. It's automatic, you don't even have to think about it. This color, Shooting Star, is stunning. I've seen the car in multiple kind of lighter shades, but the angles of the car really pop in this color. It would absolutely be my choice. It's a $1,000 upgrade. I think it's totally worth it. In fact, this car is just an all-wheel drive limited. The only additional options it has is the Shooting Star Black paint and floor mats for $210 on the sticker. The sticker's just for under $60,000. Let's hop around the side and take a look at that. I want to show you a few design elements, and then we'll take a look at the cargo area before we hop into the interior. Now, at the side angle, I think that the design really shines. You've got these amazing 20-inch wheels that just look sharp. They look part of the car. The car's kind of a mishmash of designs, but it works really well. If you come around here, you have these really cool sort of these wheel surrounds that look like slotted disc brakes. That's what they remind me of anyway. Could have just been a plain piece of plastic around the wheel, but it's not. There's actually thought to this, and it looks like something sort of machine age. Future, future, future. The whole car just speaks to, I'm going to do something different, and this is going to be awesome. This car turns heads. I have driven it for like the last 3 days, and you would be surprised how many people, yes, it is a subcompact crossover SUV, but you'd be surprised how many people stop, turn, and then start talking about the car to whoever they're standing next to with a bit of a smile on their face. That's fun. That is what I love about this car, is it takes a chance, it's a new design direction, and it just works. So over here you have these really cool LED turn signals in the side mirrors, this sort of slotted line design. I don't know, kind of reminds me of like a cool German shaver, you know, that electric shaver that, I don't know. Interpret your own way. When you approach the car, you've got these pop-out handles, and the mirrors will fold out as well. So let me see if I can demonstrate that. The car will cooperate with me. Everything folds away, but then you approach the car and you maybe tap that and everything sort of folds on out to present you. And coming back here to the rear end of the car, you've got this huge aero spoiler at the back of the car, and it's actually slotted inside here. So if you look through, you can see directly, that's so the air can kind of come down the backside and make the car a bit more aerodynamic. Interesting thing to note here, the wheelbase of the car is actually longer than the Hyundai Palisade. So this has a striking, I mean, these wheels are pushed out to the corners of the car. Coming around to the back of the car here, you can see that the design elements of the parametric pixels, we'll call them dancing LEDs, whatever you want to call them, they're wrapped all the way around the back of the car, and it just gives it the most unique, coolest light signature. You know it's an Ioniq 5 when you're behind it, you know it when you're in front of it. If you're looking at the car, you're spotting it on the road, it's like, oh, there's another Ioniq 5. So anyway, coming back around here, got a backup camera here, you've got some nice, integrated reflectors. The design just keeps wrapping around and it changes a little bit. So it's a little bit different on the side, it's a little bit different on the back, but it's all cohesive. Now I'm gonna open the trunk lid here. I'm gonna open the hatchback, and as that's popping open, we're gonna take a look at the cargo area. Nice, nice, nice. I love seeing this. So there's a cargo cover, and that means that if you fill up your hatch with groceries or valuables, you can cover them with this nice little shade. Now it retracts so it can go out of the way, and then the whole thing can be removed if need be. If you need to stack up higher things, there won't be that bar across the back. Coming under here, of course, there's no spare tire because that would be extra weight. There is your handy level 1 charger, so you can just plug it into a wall outlet in your garage if you need to, if you're not installing a level 2 charger, or if you're traveling, comes in handy. And then your tire mobility kit, that's stuffed away under here nicely. There is a little additional storage room. You can hide things under here. No one will really suspect that there's stuff in there, but it's not very deep. It does not go more than about, I'd say, 5 inches, if that. There is a handy 12-volt power outlet back here with cigarette lighter style. You can plug in an accessory there. The seats will fold forward, but also the seats will go back and forth. So we can actually slide the seats. The back passengers can slide the seats forward, slide the seats back, and they'll actually tilt as well. So the passenger can sort of lean back, but this is helpful if you have large cargo. You can load in something really big, slide the seats forward, or if it's all about the passengers can slide back in the seats, tilt the seat backs, and just relax. So another nice feature here, of course, I've seen this on a few cars lately, a great grab handle if you're going to manually pull down the hatch, but you don't need that because it's power. We can let this go down, and then we'll take a look at the interior of the car. So, boom, let's do that. Here we are in the interior of the Ioniq 5, and I want to show you one thing that will keep you from getting tripped up if you're ever in one of these cars. And I hope you get a chance to drive an Ioniq 5. So you don't have to close your door by this. I looked around, and this happened to the passenger, the next person who actually sat in the car, and I showed the car to, and they're like, there's no grab handle. Where do I pull down here? Do I grab this? Like, that's really weird. No, it's actually a little bit deceptive because the entire armrest is the grab handle. So you can grab here, you can grab back here, which is super handy, but when you look at it, it's like, oh, there's nowhere to grab. It's kind of tricky. This is how you do it. Save you from embarrassing yourself like I did. Okay, you'll never have that problem now. In the interior, one of the things I want to note is this has heated and ventilated front seats. It's a top spec trim, but they work brilliantly well, and I love having these as a feature. The interior color, now I'm a fan of light interior colors just because I feel like they're more spacious, they're more relaxing, they show less dirt. But this is a two-tone, so this is called a light gray two-tone interior, and this is not gray plastic. It's actually sort of like a hunter deep green that's almost gray. I love that. And that repeats over here. These are all very soft, squishy foam plastics, I guess foam paneling here. So high quality materials in this car, and I love that. Another thing to note is you have an HVAC panel down here that stays an HVAC panel. It doesn't switch around to radio and this and that. It's very simple, it's clean, it's laid out, and there's actually hard buttons here, touch capacitive buttons. One thing I will note is that all you need to do is click the auto button, dial up a temperature, and let the car do the work. Let the computer do the work. You don't have to fuss with all the different buttons. Set it and forget it, just like the infomercial. Next to the HVAC, you have the EV start stop button, very clear and easy to reach, and you actually select your gears through a stalk on the steering wheel. In this, you just roll the toggle on the side of the stalk forward for drive, click it all the way back for reverse, and then there's a button on the outside to put the car into park. I love that. It's better than having something in the center console, which you could spill a drink into and it would stop working. Another cool thing about this, speaking of center console, is that the whole thing will move forward and back. So you can have more room for your back passengers if you need to, and then if you need more room in the front or just want to slide the armrest back, you can do that here. Another thing, the cup holders, they're fixed cup holders. There's nothing to do here. There's a nice rubber lining in the bottom, and then down here you have a Qi charger in the bottom of the center console, and 2 USB ports, and another USB port, and then a 12-volt power outlet down about where your feet are, and another handy cubby down that way. One of the things to note is these are kind of old style USB, I guess A, USB ports, low power, instead of the more modern USB-C. So an all-electric new platform, you know, Hyundai's, you know, first big effort on this, which is they've done a phenomenal job. There's no USB-C ports up here, and that's a little bit disappointing, I will say. Super cool. Coming up to the display, 2 dual 12.3-inch high-res screens, and these are great. They're super crisp, clear, and the design from the headlights and the taillights actually repeats in the clock. It's in a certain mode in here, so that's neat. You should check that out. Another thing this car has that I love is 360-degree surround view on the display, so you can see exactly where that curb is, where that car is to the right of you, the left of you, anything that you're approaching and don't want to run into, you can see it on the screen. Great feature. And we can access that at any time with this camera button here on the dash. Again, there's a simple volume knob. There's not like multiple knobs. If you reach down and grab a knob, it's the volume knob, and you know that you're not gonna like turn the heat up high or low. This is the top trim. It does have the Bose audio system, which sounds pretty phenomenal. Around the Bose speakers is a nice LED light, ambient lighting trim piece, and then there's ambient lighting here in the door panels. Moving over the steering wheel, you've got your drive mode selector for Eco, Comfort, and Sport, and that just of course changes the driving mapping parameters of the accelerator and the power delivery to the dual electric motors in this car. You've got volume up and down on the steering wheel over on this side, and some touch capacitive buttons for your infotainment. And over here on this side, you have your driver's assistant, stop and go, radar cruise control, and it'll go bring you all the way to a stop and then move you on. So it's a full speed, the full range of automatic cruise control, radar cruise control. So let's take a look at the back seat and check out what we have back there. Okay, before we go to the back seat, I want to show you one more super neat feature about this car that I found pretty awesome. Say you've had a hard day at work, you want to get back into your car, and you're not going to leave right away, but you want to put on some soothing music and the air conditioning and just lay back and relax. Well, this has something called a relaxation mode. There's some extra buttons down here on the power seats in the Ioniq 5 Limited, and if I hold down one button, and I have to look for something here on the screen, if I'm doing this right, maybe have to turn the car on, let that happen. Let me see if I can get this to work. So I'm going to hit the button, wait for something to show on the screen, hold it down, and now I'm going to disappear, but you're going to see what happens to the seat. So it's tilting me back, but it's also throwing out this footrest, as you can see down here. So now my legs are suspended, and I've got this cushion here. I'm tilted back, so comfortable and relaxing. And when I'm done meditating, I can then hit this button again down here, and on the screen, or actually not on the screen, it's just going to do it. It's going to bring me back up, put me back in the driver's seat, and I can turn the car on and off I go. So that'll just put me back to the preset position that it was in before I activated this mode. Okay, now we can go to the back seats. Well, hi there. Welcome to the back of the Ioniq 5. First, you'll notice that there is a flat floor in the back, and the same with the front. Again, this is an all-electric, ground-up platform, so there's no need for any type of transmission tunnel, exhaust piping to go through the middle of the car. It's just super clean and flat through the whole interior. These seats in the back, super comfortable. I don't feel like I'm in any sort of penalty box. And again, we can slide the seat forward if we want more cargo space. There's still plenty of room for me. I'm 5'9". This seat's all the way back, and I am good. Remember, this wheelbase is longer than a Hyundai 3-row Palisade, okay? So I can slide this back, but I can also tilt these seats back. So say I want to take a little nap, I can go back, or I can sit in a more upright position if I'm talking to the person in the front. I don't know who really wants to sit like this, so I'm going to go back here. Down here, you've got a nice drop-down armrest with cup holders, so you can have your two lattes, as long as they have little skinny bottoms, because these are not wide. But there is a slot in here that you could actually set a mug for one person, so that is cool. Again, that has to be a very thin mug. Circumference down at the bottom. Down here, you've got your USB ports, but again, there's two of them, awesome, but they're USB-A, not the high-powered C. There's a nice little storage cubby here, nets on the back of the seats, a really nice fabric treatment on the back of the driver's seat, so it just looks like a class above what you would be expecting. Full panoramic roof. I don't feel claustrophobic here at all. We're in a park right now. I can look up at the trees, and I think any backseat passenger is really going to appreciate that feature. Again, this whole center console, I can awkwardly sort of reach up here, but still slide it forward, and that's nice. You know, if I was in the rear seat, of course, someone in the front would, if they're a nice person, they will take care of that for you. One final cool feature to point out back here is this car does have the vehicle to load feature. That's V2L, and there is a full on 120 volt, 16 amp power port back here. And this is, again, lockable, but to keep, you know, prying fingers out of that from children and adults alike. But you can slide this open, plug in a laptop for your backseat passenger, or some, you know, lighting or some audio on a camping trip, anything that you want. You can actually buy an accessory, plug something into the charge port on the side of the car to power an additional V2L device, but why buy that if you can just, you know, run an extension cord through the open window if you want. I'm sure there would be a need for it on the back. I'd be happy with this. This is so helpful if you're on a road trip, someone has to be working all day, they can just plug in and never worry about, you know, having to charge their laptop. One more feature this car has in the back is sunshades for the rear passengers, and these have really good coverage. Sometimes you get a sunshade that's really dinky, full almost all the way to the window. It takes care of this curve back here so that you don't have any sun if you have a baby, a dog, or just adults that want to sleep in the back. This is a great feature. I love how nicely integrated that is. Just simply lift up and put it up there. Let's go take a look at the charge port since we haven't seen that. Here we are at the back passenger side of the car, and that's where the charge port is. So easiest way to open this is hold down a little button on the keypad, and boom, it's going to open up. And you're going to see this design. Now, these all light up right now. That means the car is over 75% charged, which is great. However, there's a button here to close it, and if we wanted to close it, we can do that. But you will notice that the design of the car, from the headlights to the taillights, actually trickles through with this little LED thing. I wish it would bounce to the music somewhere on the car, but it doesn't seem to do that I've discovered yet. So you've got your J1772 here, and then you can actually do your DC fast charging. Again, incredible fast charging speed. If you're at a 350 kilowatt station, you can put 10 to 80% in 18 minutes in this car. That's fabulous. That is the sort of leading industry standard right now. And then you can also buy a V2L adapter, plug it in here, and have your 110 volt outlet handy if you need. So we're gonna close this and take a look under the hood before we go for a drive, and then I'm gonna give you my summary and my fabulous favorites. Okay, we've popped the hood release. I'm just gonna lift this up, slide my hand under here, flip this little thing over, and there are nice struts to hold up the hood. You will see, even though this is an EV platform from the ground up, unfortunately there is not a big front. There is this nice little compartment we can open up here and store a few small items, but that's it, a few small items. You're not gonna load this up with bottles of beer. There's no room for any of that sort of fun, or soda pops, or whatever you would put in here. But there is nice secure storage. Again, this locks. No one's gonna probably be prying your hood open to see what's hidden under here. Everything's really nicely laid out with coolant, windshield washer fluids. Your 12 volt battery is over this way, and power steering fluid, very nicely laid out, but just not a lot of room under the hood. One cool thing to mention about this powertrain is that it does, in this trim, and actually I believe all trims, it has a heat pump and it has battery heating for preconditioning, and that'll just help you increase charge times as you're headed to a charger and improve the cold weather operation. I'm gonna give this a close and go for a spin. All right, we're ready for a drive, but I want to show you one thing, and this applies to many cars, not just the Ioniq 5, but I thought it'd be good for a quick tutorial. These seat belts on the B-pillar are adjustable, so if you're a shorter person, you can go down a little bit, and if you're super tall, you can go all the way to the top position. This is 3 positions, and then the middle position, I'm about there, kind of average. Okay, let's hit the road. Okay, we're hitting the road here. I'm about to merge into traffic. I'm gonna go into sport mode just for fun, and wow, I am, it just makes me laugh every time. This car's got so much power. It's a subcompact crossover SUV, and it's loaded with power. Anyway, so fantastic, solid platform. This E-GMP, which is of course their all-electric platform, is rock solid. I have no complaints about the driving. The driver's assistance systems work great. It's comfortable, it's predictable, it's safe, but it's also pretty sporty. One thing I will note, if I had to nitpick anything, the steering at lower speeds and a little bit on the road feels just a little numb, like it's kind of hard to find center. Other than that, this car is a joy to drive. Joy to drive. You know, in the last like 2 minutes, I got a compliment before I headed out on this drive. Someone said, "Nice car," and of course I'm pretending it's mine. Thank you. This is a lot of fun. Super easy to drive, and again, the radar cruise control. I'm gonna hit that automatic cruise control, set the speed, and it's not, you know, hands-free. It's not autopilot, but it's actually steering. It's keeping it centered in the lane, and we're headed down the road safely. There's plenty of traffic. There's a car and truck in front of me. It's following that truck at a safe distance. It's really working brilliantly. Of course, I am responsible for driving, and I need to pay attention at all times. My hands are ready to go. My feet are at the pedals. But this is a great driving car, and the seating position is pretty darn great because, and I would say it's higher up because, right, it's a crossover. I don't feel like I'm down in a tiny car. I'm up with a really good command of the road, and that feels nice. I just, you know, the car puts a smile on my face. I can also go into eco mode or normal mode and just drive silently and calmly and put on some classical music. So it's great. You can dial in whatever you want. You can make this car be what you would like it to be. So we're gonna head on down and wrap this video up. So I'll see you in a hot second outside of the car. Before I wrap this up, I think it's worth noting how calm and solid this ride is. Like, what noise do you hear? What is the video picking up? It's so smooth. It's well insulated against wind. Bumps do not upset the car. They don't, you know, throw you off course. They don't rattle your teeth. It's a very luxurious ride. So I finally understand what all the fuss about this car is about and why it's won so many awards, including World Car of the Year in 2022. It's just phenomenal. It's fun. It's good looking. It gets attention. It's useful. It's really an all-around winner. I think Hyundai has done a knockout job with this car, and if you haven't driven it, take it for a drive because it's pretty darn cool. Now let's talk about my fabulous favorites about this car. Let's go through the list. First of all, the design. It's stunning in the front, it's stunning in the back, and it's stunning on the side, and it turns heads. I've been trying to get this car for years. I'm finally behind the driver's seat. I get the buzz around it. I was lukewarm at first. I'm like, oh, it's kind of gimmicky. Didn't really do it for me. Now that I have it, and I love a little bit of attention, I won't lie there, but it is a really good looking car, and it stands out. You will know you're driving an Ioniq 5. Let's move to the second one, the V2L capability. Of course, I love that. It's great. It has the Bose stereo. Let's talk about that. But another big thing is the fast charging. 10 to 80% in under 18 minutes on a 350 kilowatt charger. Say you're at an Electrify America station or another station. If it's 350 kilowatts and conditions are ideal, temperature and, you know, the 19 other things that have to be ideal for fast charging, you're going to get some incredible charging times on this car. Not so fabulous favorites, I would say The sunroof, it doesn't open, and I want a sunroof that opens. It's great that it's huge, it's great that it has a power closing shade, but let me crack it open, let me slide it back. I would love to have that. Another sort of is the interior. While the displays are super modern, the rest of the interior is pretty more normal in its design. And I would love to have seen an interior that fully reflected the exterior of the car and the sort of amazing design elements that are on this car. Again, design is subjective. The gauge digital is super crisp, but I want to see more of this on the inside. In summary, this is a fast car. It's a good looking car. It fast charges. It will drive quickly. You know, if you're used to a gas crossover subcompact SUV and it just sort of groans up to speed and buzzes along, you need to drive an electric car, and you need to drive this electric car because it's stunning, it's thrilling. I haven't driven the rear-wheel drive only platform, but every car that I've driven that has all-wheel drive that also has rear-wheel drive, I love that. I love rear-wheel drive so much more than front-wheel drive, just for a more sporty feel, and it lets the front wheels do the steering and the back wheels do the driving. But this is all-wheel drive. We'll talk about this car. I'm thrilled with the all-around package and what this value presents. It is a little bit under $60,000. However, the amount of features that you get for this, pretty amazing. So that wraps up my review of the Ioniq 5. If this video was helpful, please hit that subscribe button. If it was not helpful, please hit that subscribe button, and a future video will be more helpful to you. Thank you for watching. Please give me your comments, your feedback in this review down below. I would love to hear what you have to say. Positive, negative, it doesn't matter. Have a great day, and we'll see you on the next review.